Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chairman of the Board, Biotechnology Innovation Organization, and President and CEO, Accorda Therapeutics, Ron Cohen.
Good morning. That was nice. Thank you. Well, welcome. Welcome to Bio 2016. You've already heard we have almost 16,000 people here. It's an incredibly exciting time for our industry. And I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, and I thought, well, why are we here, right? So we're here to learn. We're here to network. 35,000 one-on-one business meetings alone. This is a time of incredible opportunity for our industry, unprecedented advances, and everyone understands it. It feels like it's just beginning to lift off, and that the next several years are going to be even more amazing. And at the same time, our industry is under maybe unprecedented pressures from various sectors of society and misunderstandings of what it is we do and what it takes to do what we do. So we're here also to talk about how we address that and how we educate better. But in a bigger sense, why are we here? Heart disease death rate drops by 45% in a decade. Statins are a big part of the picture. Entresto estimated to prolong lifespan. Breakthrough drug for Alzheimer's. Gene therapy used to treat patients with Parkinson's. New drugs could reverse multiple sclerosis damage. The end of AIDS. You think back just 15 years ago, how terrifying it still was. And now there's a doctor writing editorials saying, as a doctor, I'd rather have HIV today than diabetes, because it's now a manageable chronic condition. Jimmy Carter's metastatic melanoma, once automatically fatal, vanished. How a CML trial in Gleevec saved my life. Extraordinary results in cancer using T-cell therapy. Cannabis-based drugs successful for children with epilepsy. Gene therapy hits goals in blindness. Game changer for kids with cystic fibrosis, and cancer-causing human papillomavirus plummeted in teenagers since the vaccine was introduced. That's why we're here. That's our reality. We have the privilege of dedicating our careers to this. And it's very personal, right? It's not just some abstraction, because we know that what we produce, what we work on, is going to be needed by all of us at one time or another. Our sons, our daughters, your mother, your father, your neighbors, your colleagues, your friends, everybody, yourself. There's something maybe uniquely personal about what we get to do in our industry and in our lives and work. But we also have another reality. Write-off, $680 million muscular dystrophy drug. Brain cancer vaccine fails. Failure, mesothelioma drug trial. Another cannabis drug fails in cancer pain. Brilinta fails to beat aspirin in a stroke trial. Stock plunges after anti-infection drug trial, fails. Cholesterol drug, fails. Stroke drug, fails. Diabetes drug, fails. Depression. Alzheimer's R&D suffers trial failures at a rate of 99.6%. And my company, Accorda, ends development of Plumiaz for people with seizure clusters. That's also our reality. Because while we're excited and proud of all of the medical advances, even miracles that we deliver, cures for diseases that could never be touched, extending lives, improving the quality of people's lives, allowing them to dance at their children's weddings where they might not have before. While we're doing that, we know that 90% of the time or more, what we work on fails. It's extraordinary when you think about it. That is our reality. So I want to share with you something that is still very close, very personal, and very new for me, which is the last item here. What just happened a couple of weeks ago at my company, Accorda, because it will be familiar to all of you. It's emblematic of experiences we all sign up for when we sign up to work in this industry. So we had a drug for people with seizure clusters, and a lot of these are kids, but also adults, where they don't just get one seizure when they get a seizure, they get a whole string of seizures in, let's say, a 24-hour period. And the more seizures you have, the more taxing it is on the body and brain, the more dangerous it is. And it's critical that after that first seizure, you cut it off and you stop it. So 3 years ago, we bought a little company that had spent several years already developing an innovative delivery for a drug that would stop these seizures by being sprayed in the nose. Now, up to that point, up to now, the only choice for people who wanted to stop seizures at home and not have to go to the emergency room was to take this drug and administer it in a gel in the rectum, like an enema. And you can just imagine, for people who are going through the stress already of dealing with seizures, having to deliver a drug in this way is so difficult and so awkward and so off-putting, but they do it, they have no choice. And we met scores of people with this condition, kids, their parents, who were telling us what a difference it would make in their lives. If they could just have a little spray, they could keep it in a pocket, and then when they needed it, they just put it in the nose and you're done. And all the data had said should work just like the rectal gel. And we were confident that we were going to file for approval early next year. Until a couple of weeks ago when we unblinded data in a key trial and were stunned to find that in people with epilepsy, for whatever reason, it wasn't absorbed the way it was in people without epilepsy. And we couldn't continue the program. We'd even given it a name, Plumiaz. We'd hung our collective hopes and dreams on it, and those of the patients that we wanted to help. So we have 600 or so people at Accorda. We're still in mourning. We're actually in mourning because it's so personal. And what it made it even more personal was that we happened to have one associate at the company, one of our salespeople, Eric, whose son was born with this seizure disorder, and from the age of 3 months was having multiple seizures a day, who's now 18 years old, has had literally thousands and thousands of seizures in his young life, has the developmental stage of a 5-year-old, but a wonderful, charismatic young man. And he was scheduled to come give us a talk the next week, just coincidentally, because that's what we do, and we all do. We want to know the patients and their families and understand better how we can help with the products we're producing, the innovations that we're making. And so I called him up the day we made the announcement, and I said, Eric, I'm sorry. We won't be able to deliver this for you and your family. And I'm sorry you won't be able to come and talk to us about it. And he said, Ron, if it's all the same to you, I'd like to come and talk to you about it. And I said, why? And he said, because I have a message for the company. So we brought him up. And he and his wife, Kim, and Daniel came with their nurse assistant, their service dog who detects seizures in advance. And they talked to us, and they took us through what it had been like from the very first seizure when Daniel was 3 months old, and the shock and terror of that, all the way to adapting their lives around it. And it was gripping. And in the end, his message to us was this. He said, we wouldn't trade our lives with Daniel for anything in the world. He's a wonderful kid. He's a blessing for us. Even though in 25 years of marriage, we've been away together as a couple twice for a weekend each time because we can't leave. We've learned to adapt. We've persevered because life doesn't always give you what you want, but you persevere and you make it as good as it can be. And his message was, yes, we're disappointed that we can't have this drug now. But the effort that we at Accorda put in is not going to be in vain. We've learned some very important things from the experience, surprising things that we'll publish, and that hopefully are going to help other parties when they're developing the next type of drug for this. So we're contributing, because that's how our industry works. Everything builds on everything else. And he said, the important thing is we have 7 other drugs in the clinic. We will persevere, and it's critical that we don't take setbacks and say, all right, that's it, we're done. We persevere, and then we get there. Then, in the end, if we do that, we deliver the innovations to people and society that we need to. That's why we're here. I love this picture. This is another one of our associates at an MS walk. She was manning or personing our booth. And a woman with MS came over because she was taking our drug. It's indicated to improve walking in people with MS. And she wanted to find someone to tell them what the drug had done for her and to thank us. And the photographer was there and happened to catch this spontaneous photo. Isn't this why we're here? At its essence, we are maybe the most personal industry there is. Because what we deal with is not just some abstraction, science and medicine and advancing frontiers. That's all fantastic. But in the end, this is what we do. And this is where it comes home. And this is why we're here today, to help us all continue to build and to advance and to do this. As I said, we're under unprecedented pressures because there really is profound misunderstanding out there about what it takes for us to be able to persevere, for us to be able to take the huge risks we do for 10 to 15 years on average for a single drug with the hundreds of millions of dollars or more of investment that we have to command at high risk, with 90% failure rates, to produce that string of successes that I showed you at the beginning. But to get there, we have to go through the string of setbacks and failures. So please ask yourselves while you're here, am I proud to be part of this? Do I want to help ensure that we can continue to deliver these kinds of innovations to society? Because we need everyone's help, the entire industry's help. And if you look on your chairs, everyone should have a brochure, a pocket card. We've designed that at Bio as part of the effort to educate the public, the media, the government, other parties about what we do and what the value is to society of what we do, and why it needs to be supported. So I would ask you all, as you go through this wonderful meeting, you learn, you talk, you network, please look at that pocket card carefully. Learn what's in it. And please become part of the solution, all of you, talking to your legislators, if you have the opportunity to talk to the media, even at the dinner table when you're challenged by your uncle who is furious about drugs and drug pricing and what he perceives is going on. This will help begin to educate about what it is we do and why we're here. Thank you all. Have a wonderful conference. I look forward to seeing many of you on the floor.